saw it at the Cinematheque.
The first time Cindy is.
First time you've seen it?
Yeah.
I saw it in pieces
Yeah.
The trailer?
Yeah.
You saw involved in making it?
Yes,
Did you make a film? Or
Yeah.
did Travis often as well?
Well, yeah. I put him to work for sure. And this is Sandra, who was my inspiration. It was her book, along with, which was illustrated by Alton Lowe, who you saw in there.
yes.
Sandy, was it difficult to find the research material? I mean, it's how readily available.
Yeah, you know, there is, when I was doing it in the early 90s, you know, with Alton, who had done all the paintings for the stamp issue, and we went to San Salvador, and I had, for the history of the Bahamas in 1980, I had a chapter on the Titans, and I had gotten a lot of information, both on San Salvador, the Research Center, and books, and the University of Miami, and all the books and articles that I could find. And I just continued that, went further in that research to do the Lucayans, which was published in 1990. So, and since that time, there of course, Bob Carr, who spoke in the film, they have done more archaeological digs, not only on, there are almost 25 on San Salvador. And the schools at the Research Center, Don Jerez was talking about the pots and making the pots and all that. Schools from 5, 6, 7 colleges, and even more in the New York area would come down, do field studies, and they discovered quite a bit there. But Bob Carr came further north. They didn't think that the Lucayans were in the Abacos or in Eleuthera. And of course, the man who, in Preacher's Cave, we went to Preacher's Cave, and we had that study, you know, their big, thick archaeological book on that dig. And it seemed that, to me, that the research that I had done, reading, I don't know, 50 books or whatever, and articles, kind of held together. And like to know how it felt for you, seeing it, you know, like seeing it for the first time. And so I'd like maybe you to talk.
Yeah, I want to say that because I had to screen this, you know, before it got in here, I realized just today it was much more spiritual than I thought it was before. You know, I was looking directly at the historical part of it, and I wasn't looking at. But that's the only way. I think that's the only way you could have handled it, because these were people who were going to die, and they had to find something, you know, left, because they were going to be sacrificed in no time at all.
Well, this was, of course, a very important part of their culture. The spirituality, the everything is one, all things are connected, and everything is one, is still, you know, so people even talk like that in Bahamas today, and in Puerto Rico, and these places. And the ceremonialists, when we had the advantage, maybe Travis, you might want to talk about Miguel.
Oh, well, I was going to talk about Catherine. You know, the last couple times that we've had screenings, Catherine Hummingbird Ramirez had done did a blessing or spoke, and she's been an advocate of the Miami Circle down at the downtown archaeological site there, and praying for the preservation of this part of our history, and so, you know, I did try to balance the spirituality, the reenactment of what they might have been like, as well as the scholar, you know, Gerace and Bob Carr, and talking about the science behind their culture. But
yeah, I was going to ask you the couple who played the native.
they're not Taino.
Yeah.
No.
But is there
That's full
evidence
body
as to
paint
what those
every day.
Yes, they, the pictures that, the paintings that Alton Lowe did were, of course, we had Christopher Columbus's description of the people, and it's fairly accurate, and Travis tried to they are Spanish.
Every single one of the images in the book that where Alton, the painter, represented the Lucayans, every single one of those Lucayans paintings that are in the book are brought to life by the actors. You know, so those stills that you saw are Alton's, and I just tried.
Personally, I think one is sitting right over there. One of the ancestors.
Yeah,
came right
my
from
family's from Puerto Rico.
Yes. And the Taino, you know, are still some. In the Bahamas, they were wiped out. But with the DNA studies, I would not be surprised, because everything was so close, and the Fisher people, and you know,
Right.
they came. And the Bahamian sailors went to Cuba. And the Cuban sailors came to the Bahamas and up into the Florida Straits. And
So you think that there may be traces of the
there may
people?
be traces, yes. And
Well, they have Taino DNA testing, you know,
Yes.
but to say Lucayan, I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibilities.
yes,
I mean,
yeah.
You
especially.
mentioned the Mayan circle. Is there a relation to the peoples? Are they related?
Well, those are, that is said to be Tequestan, you know,
Yeah.
so that's a totally different North American
Yeah.
descent tribe.
But he showed several circles.
But one of the
travels.
circles is
the Miami circle.
which to me was important. To
Right,
Sandra
right.
was important. I mean, separately, but it has also very very part of our.
I think it's really weird is that Sandy and Cindy and myself, we all lived right on that
On the
location.
Mayan circle.
Yeah, the Miami circle.
We were living in a group of
In the Biscayne
Biscayne Boulevard.
Brickell Point.
Brickell Point Apartments.
And then they tore it down, and they were going to build a big building there, and then they got stopped because they found out about the site there. So now, there's no building there, it's preserved as a site, right next to big buildings.
It was a 38-foot circle of holes in the ground.
But the connections that Travis made, because he had that one circle that in Puerto Rico where the man was describing.
Yeah.
He had a circle, the one with all of the struts in it. That's from Wyoming, and of course that's one. In Wyoming. Yeah, I think it is there.
There's one from Puerto Rico, one from Wyoming, and the Miami circle.
And the Miami
Those are-
circle. But the idea is that all of the
We are all
seems
one.
that we are all one.
We're all one.
And the Aboriginal people pretty much had the same spiritual connection, ideas about their spirituality and the connection. And I put in, to tie in with Columbus, because the sign of the cross is exactly what they did to make, it is the equidistant cross. Because when Catholics say the sign of the cross, which was Columbus always saying in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, it's that same motion.
Yeah, unfortunately, I come from that side of the part of Italian. But
You can imagine if you were an Indian seeing for the very first time another world approaching on a boat, and what you see at the top of it is a cross that you think means something else, maybe. You
Yeah.
know,
And to discover that cross doesn't mean what theirs
what theirs means.
meant, you know, to them, that we are all connected. It was not that, it was, well, we've got to wipe out these people because they're not like us, and we know how the ramifications.
well, do you
and
know the
reverberations.
percentage between the